Hello again, everyone. It's This Week in Agribusiness meteorologist Greg Solier. We're back in for Max Armstrong. Welcome to Farm Progress Dateline Drought. Our continuing coverage of the drought of 2012 is brought to you by Genuity Drought Guard Hybrids. Well, a more active weather pattern anticipated heading on through the next couple of days across a wide and expansive area of the heartland. Opportunities to put down some meaningful moisture, perhaps even some lowering snow levels into areas of the Pacific Northwest. A wide range of bank and barn thermometer readings, you'll note, out across areas of the plains and Midwest over the next couple of days. And no shortage of moisture either for a good chunk of the Corn Belt. Even some topsoil recharge anticipated over parts of the northern and central plains where there is a need for said moisture. A long way to go to make any significant gain in that drought weather pattern. We've seen some improvement, and you can testify to that with some sloppier and muddier fields despite the well advance of corn and soybean harvest across much of the Midwest. Matter of fact, here's that latest Palmer drought map, and indications are shaping up like this, with improvement noted over Michigan, sections of Wisconsin, a good chunk of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and points south-southwest all the way down into the Lone Star State. A little more of a regional schematic here on some of the more extreme drought conditions, and you can see it playing out through areas of the western Dakotas, a good chunk of Nebraska, into areas of Big Sky, the northern and central high plains, and there too, by the way, livestock managers, a noticeable shift in weather to cooler and colder, and some snowfall potential as well heading through the middle part of the week. Meanwhile, here is a look at precipitation over the next 5 days, and we'll get into it for the Pacific Northwest. Gauges at 1.5 inches to 2 all the way down to Napa and the northern and central valleys. Good news there. 1/4 to 1/2 inch expected over the northern and central plains. Some spots 1 inch or 2 on top of last week's 1 inch or 2. And areas of the upper Mississippi Valley, another 1.5 inches, much of Champaign County the past couple of weeks, 2.5 inches of rain there. The rain's beginning to taper off as you venture on east and southeast into areas of the Ohio Valley. Look at this little tropical bullseye. By the way, system heading up through the Carolinas and this advancing front are going to merge. Lots of rain towards the later portion of this week and into the weekend up and down areas of the East Coast. Well, here's how moisture is expected to play on out over the next 6 to 10 days. And once we get out of this active weather pattern, we'll focus moisture continuing as such, and we'll take it with low snow levels into areas of the Cascades of Pacific Northwest. An active weather pattern across the northeastern states. There'll be some windows of opportunity to resume and or put a wrap out there in harvest operations across a wide area of the Midwest and the plains too. That's a check on weather. Now on to Bryce Knorr and a look at markets.
The grain market was a story of the haves and have-nots on Monday. And with harvest just about over, what each commodity had and didn't have in the way of export business made all the difference. Prices were firm overnight, rebounding from Friday's week close, but were showing signs of weakness after the pit opened in Chicago. Then USDA's weekly export inspections report provided some direction. Soybeans benefited from another huge week of export inspections, 61.4 million bushels in the latest week. That was well above trade guesses and more than 2.5 times the rate forecast by USDA for the rest of the marketing year. Futures couldn't get back to their overnight highs, which were capped at the 100-day moving average, but did manage double-digit gains, finishing 12.25 higher at 1546 3/4. Inspections of corn were as flat as soybeans were strong. The weekly total of 9.6 million bushels was well below trade guesses and less than half the total needed to keep on track with USDA's forecast. Corn finished weak, losing 1/4 at 761.25. News was mixed for wheat. Export inspections of 16.4 million bushels were in line with trade guesses, but the total for the marketing year is 11% behind last year at this time, even as USDA forecasts a 16% increase. And despite the much publicized ban of exports from Ukraine, Wheat out of the Black Sea was still offered at tenders today from Iraq and Syria, with Russia, Romania, and Hungary reportedly making offers. Regular customers in Asia and the Americans still want U.S. wheat, but we just aren't competitive elsewhere yet. Wheat still managed gains, fueled by concerns over conditions on the plains. Chicago December ended up 5 3/4 at 856.5. Kansas City was 7.5 higher at 915.5, and Minneapolis finished up 5 at 947.5. Keep up with the drought situation across the country by visiting www.datelinedrought.com.